live again, I think.
Hello.
No, we're not. Yeah, there
Oh
we go.
no,
Alright,
we're
we're
dead.
live.
We're all dead.
Not really. We're back with the Dr. Z show after a week sort of hiatus. We released an episode, but it was
Yeah,
Christmas, and we were out doing Christmas things, like getting engaged
the both of us.
to each other. Not really. I think our fiancés would probably kill us.
Yeah. Also, I never really paid attention to this before, but the male version of fiance is the one with the single e in the accent, and the female version of fiance is the one with two e's.
It still has an accent, though, right? On the first E?
Nope, no accent.
Wow. I'm terrible then.
It's like fiancee.
Fiancé. That
Fiance.
sounds fancy.
It does.
That's like a U level pun. That was
Fiance. Fiancee Thursdays. You have to get engaged. It's our tradition. I got engaged on a Tuesday, so
All right. So we're gonna do a little double bill here with our year in review. It is the first day of 2019 today, and it has been a bit of the day. I warned Jacob yesterday, when it was still yesterday for him, but today for me, not to come to the future because we don't even have jetpacks yet. This is bullshit.
the only jetpack that we have that's not great is that water jetpack.
Oh
But
yeah, I've seen videos of people trying to use them and just like hurting themselves like horribly.
they're also limited to just that body of water.
That's true. Like you can't go to a different place and like use them.
Yeah.
You have to be like they're very contained. I imagine like a pirate or somebody, like some like dangerous criminal that like is stopped because they can only terrorize like that area. They can't
Yeah.
like do anything else. Although we spoke about this off air obviously yesterday, about like New Year's resolutions and how I think they're kind of crap. Like you should just like try to not be a garbage person. But I sort of thought about it and I do have a New Year's resolution and it is to stop cursing so much. Like I feel like I kind of do a little bit excessively.
All the gosh darn time.
I mean, yeah, no, like that's where I was gonna go with this bit originally, and then I thought about it and I was like,
And you're like, wait a second, if
no,
that's my resolution, then that would defeat the purpose.
basically yes. Like, so I don't know, like, well, the resolution is to stop cursing so much. Like, let's be honest. Like, because
Oh.
if anybody like, I mean, if you know me, it's kind of a lot. Like,
I just have
you
some
don't know me.
roommates moving in. 1 second, I have to say hi to them. Hi, I'm Jacob. What are your names? Jesus? Okay, nice to meet you.
I'm Tim and I'm just a friend.
Okay,
The
cool.
new room.
Nice.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Virginia.
From Virginia?
Mhm.
You going to school BYU?
Mhm.
Sick, dude.
What about
I'm
you?
from Mexico.
Okay, cool.
The new
So,
roommates. They are ripe for the picking.
serví mi misión Boise, Idaho, pero hablando español. Sí, oh no, I'm losing my Spanish. It's been a year since I got back, but I'm recording a podcast with a friend of mine, so I don't mean to ignore you, but I'm so, okay.
Has it really already been a year since you've been back?
Yes, it has.
Wow. Holy crap.
It was a
It's
year,
still weird
like
to hear
4
you
months
speak
ago.
Spanish. Like, even like a little bit of Spanish. It's still like weird to hear you speak Spanish because like I don't know. I remember you took French in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. It's still like weird to me. Not like I'm like, oh, what a weirdo, but like it's just different. Anyway, so our year in review. What happened in 2018 other than people eating Tide Pods and destroying Paris?
1 second. Question. Oh, that room. So this one's already taken. It's full of stuff. So. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Okay, they were just asking about the room. I also realized that I have blue paint on my ear from yesterday at work.
Your ear
Yes,
from yesterday?
I was working with a lot of paint. Like, a
Oh
lot.
yeah, I remember you were talking to me, and then like you had to run that like paint machine or something, right?
Yeah. So yes, Tide Pods happened, but this is gonna be a nerdier interview. So the topics that we have for that, because I mean there could be a lot of things. But the topics that we have are like stuff from DC Comics, news from Marvel Comics, and video games and movies. But for the most
Let's
part,
uh let's start with the DC Comics because you brought that up yesterday that you wanted to talk about it.
Mhm.
Because DC Comics, I mean, they always have been, but they're getting crazy.
Yeah, they are. So in DC Comics, there were so I mostly get my DC Comics info from kind of like Google's news feed that they give me when I just like open up Chrome on my phone. So that's how
I've
I
been
get a lot of
finding a
my
lot
stuff.
of like really interesting stuff that way.
And the other thing that I have used for a lot of comics knowledge recently is YouTube channels like Comic Storian or Comics Explained. Um, so, um, but one of the things, so this actually started in 2017, but it ended in this year. So it's, on the docket is the Dark Knight's Metal series, which was a Batman fan service reboot of the DC universe.
Of
Um,
course.
so, and to fill in those who don't know, basically the plot of Dark Knight's Metal is that there's this dragon who was supposed to, he was like one of the gods or whatever, and he was supposed to destroy universes that weren't supposed to exist, but then
I'm sorry,
he
what, when, wait, hold on. When did we start talking about Fire Emblem?
it's not Fire Emblem. Basically, like there's the beings, whatever that created the universe. There's this forge that creates universes, and one of the gods had this pet dragon, and he was like, "Hey, your job is to destroy all the universes that are like real bad and that shouldn't exist because they're just awful." And he's like, "Okay." But then he gets power hungry and he decides to kill his master and start letting all of the terrible worlds exist. And in a bunch of and he also at one point decided that Batman would be like his herald or whatever. And so all of the evil universes
So
where,
he's Galactus.
yeah, all of the evil universes where Batman like basically turns into a villain. Um, he started recruiting all of those Batmen from all of the evil
The
universes.
Batman.
Yeah, and so they were, like the Dark Knights. So they spill over from the dark. So basically, the DC universe has like all of its different worlds, and then now there's a negative version of all of those. And it's like the dark universe. And so, yeah. Long story short, like they managed to win, like the good guys from the real universe, but there's some like real jacked up stuff that happens. One of them being the Batman Who Laughs, who's like the Jokered version of Batman, because he pulls in his universe, he pulls out a machine gun and kills the entire Bat family. So
What the hell?
yeah, it's pretty great.
Great. Probably not a word I would use to describe it, but sure.
Yeah.
I
And
like
there's
I like
also,
lost you there for a second because like I was just thinking of the like Silver Surfer Batman fan art, and now I'm just like imagining Silver Surfer wearing the bat costume. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, and kind of, yeah, there's all this like crazy weird stuff with nth metal, like summoning the name of the dragon was Barbatos. because of course bats.
Of course, that's
Yeah, but that ended, and the way that what kind of the major takeaways from that, in the end, were that the source wall was destroyed.
what the how?
Um,
How do you
as a
destroy the source wall? For reference, the source wall is the wall at the end of the universe, because of course it is.
and I don't remember exactly if it was destroyed entirely or if like part of it was just like cracked open. It might have been more cracked open, but they basically used some crazy cosmic whatevers um, to seal Barbatos in the source wall, but in doing so, they like destroyed part of it, and so then that culminated in the release of or release slash discovery of 7 total forces, because there was the Speed Force, but now
Right.
there's a bunch now. There's the Speed Force, the Slow Force, the yeah. So turns out Turtle, the turtle, like the
right,
Flash
the
villain,
Flash villain who
turns out he
moves
was
slow.
actually yeah, turns out he was actually onto something. Like it's a real like cosmic ability, whatever.
DC Comics is just like they're confused now. Like, what is happening?
I don't know. The other thing from that was there was also the discovery of the strong force, not the strong nuclear force for those physicist people out there. But it's like, for like people who are like really bulky, whatever. Um, and
Crossing
yeah, and
Force.
there's a few more. The Some of the villains killed some of the gods, because they could. Yeah, there's a lot going on. But some other things I would prefer that are less confusing to talk about maybe are the Heroes in
Yeah,
Crisis.
we're getting into Bionicle territory here.
Yeah. Um, so the Heroes in Crisis series of comics tackled like mental health issues amongst
I heard about
superheroes.
that.
Yeah. Um, but sadly, um, someone there was like a conspiracy or something, and a bunch of the people who were there, like receiving treatment, a bunch of their like footage was stolen from their like therapy sessions, and a bunch of them were murdered, like in the
Whoa.
facility. Yeah. So, and the only people that lived from that event were Harley Quinn and Booster Gold, and so they were.
Booster. Oh, right, I do remember that. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because Booster Gold, I don't remember if this was in 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2017, but he made a wonderful decision to try and rewrite history, to show Batman what it would be like if his parents had lived. Yeah,
I
like
think that
wow.
was this year. I do
And
remember reading a lot about it this year.
yeah,
It might have happened at the tail end of last year, though. But I do think it was this year. I think you're right.
yeah. But man, like that is just like the worst idea. So,
Yeah, it was
um,
horrible.
yeah,
If
he
you have
got
any
tortured
interest,
a
I
bunch.
suggest like going and looking that up. Like Booster Gold is like he's terrible.
Yep. Other DC Comics news was so a bunch of the articles that I saw were in a weird way referring to this new DC hero as DC's version of Spider-Man. It's the
Okay.
hero Sideways. Uh, his first comic came out in February of this year, or last year, February of 2018. And he can basically just teleport to like anywhere, like he can universe hop. Um, and so he's
Okay,
he's
so you can teleport on like a cosmic level, not just
yeah,
like I'm gonna go over there level.
yeah. But he's a teenager, and I guess he's like kind of quippy, and his suit looks like it could be a Spider-Man suit. So I think that's why people were kind of saying
Ah,
like that's what he was. And then the last thing was there was a lot of the comics said that this was DC's version of Hulk. There's basically a super soldier kind of serum, but he uh, could only transform into that form for 1 hour.
that's
And
very
Wonder
specific.
yeah, and Wonder Woman quoted him as being stronger than Superman. So
That's just like I feel like they use that as like a cop out. Like anytime somebody in DC needs to be really strong, they're always compared to Superman. Like you're stronger than Superman. You must be really strong. Like why can't you just be really strong? Like
yeah.
I don't know. DC Comics like somewhere along the way, I feel like somebody did a lot of cocaine, like, and just like decided. A friend of ours has this theory that like anytime DC just goes wild, and anytime they like screw up the universe they're currently writing too badly, they just like reboot the universe. And I feel like we're like reaching critical mass. We're like getting to that point where like they're gonna be like, okay, this
Oh,
is a problem. We need to start over.
I forgot about the Watchmen thing. There was a Watchmen crossover, and it was determined that the one of the reboots was caused by Doctor Manhattan.
One of the DC reboots?
Yeah,
Oh, probably.
it's the one. I think it's the one that ended the New 52 and started Rebirth.
52
Oh,
was they had some good ideas, but they were poorly executed.
and in addition to that, one of the other major plot lines was that Superman's dad was actually alive in one of these universes, and he was like crazy and like
Crazy
sort of
like a
evil.
lunatic or crazy like
Crazy like a sort of villain, but he thinks he's doing what's right
I
for
mean most villains
everyone.
do.
Yeah, but he like captured Lois and Superman's kid. Like I don't know, it was just there's too much on that. Um, but yeah, there's a lot going on.
Dude. These like I mean like I said, like DC Comics like that I used to keep up with DC Comics and then I realized it was going to be like a full-time job and I was like DC Comics are cool, but they're
Yeah,
not consume my entire life cool. Like I mean, and if
yeah.
you're into DC Comics, like more power to you, but you're a loony. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like you're crazy.
Oh, and there's in addition to that, there's also an entire other spectrum of Green Lantern things, but they're like hidden emotions. So that was also cracked open by the Source Wall event.
Okay.
So
The only like reason I know about the Source Wall is from Justice League Unlimited in the first part of the finale. I think it was maybe it was the last finale episode, but it might have been the first part of the finale episodes
yeah,
where it was just like Metron or whatever his name
yep,
is, the guy in the chair. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, hmm
He like goes to the source. He like takes Lex Luthor to the source wall, and Lex Luthor is like, "I'm gonna get the anti-life equation from the other end of the source wall, and I'm gonna use it to defeat Darkseid." And then he like brings it to Darkseid, and they just like
disappear.
evaporate or something. Like like it was never explained what happened to them. They just
Yeah,
sort of vanished.
yeah, which is probably a good place to end it.
Oh well, yeah, no, like that could have gotten comics weird. Like it could have just spiraled out of control.
The DC Comics history is very deep.
Convoluted.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
anyway, in other less confusing news, what else happened in 2018 in the
I feel
world of
like
nerds?
I feel like so. I mean, we have Marvel comics on the docket, but I feel like maybe we should switch to like film or video games
Oh
because
yeah, Marvel. I mean, Marvel Comics did a lot of things this year, but the MCU has like it's on drugs now. Like it exploded. It is on
yeah,
some serious steroids. Infinity War, like you saw Infinity War, right? Like
yeah.
holy crap, Infinity War, so good,
Okay.
so good.
So right now I'm looking at a Wikipedia article, 2018 in film. Um, so I'm trying to look at what films came out that were like fairly notable.
Other than Infinity War.
Yeah. Remember that the Peter Rabbit movie came out?
Black Panther came out in February, in case anyone
Yes.
was wondering how long 2018 actually was.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Which was after the Peter Rabbit movie, which is also in February. Yeah, Black Panther was very well known for having a largely black cast as a major motion picture. Um, and
And just in general, not even in comics, but just in general. Like, it's
yeah,
very. I want to
there's
say it
the
was very diverse, but it wasn't. Like,
yeah,
it was. And I mean, like, and it made sense. Like, people were giving it shit for that, but like, it takes place in Wakanda, which is like fictional, granted, but Wakanda is in Africa. Like,
yeah,
so that it only makes sense.
yeah. The best movie since Hotel Rwanda. Um, I can't think of very many other films that are set in Africa. I mean, like Captain
District
Phillip.
9.
Yeah, District 9, but that's South
District 9
Africa.
was
Doesn't count.
crazy.
um, so my favorite joke from Black Panther, well, my favorite joke from the movie
Was
script
it the
is
Hercules joke?
no, it's I called them sneakers, and then the other joke to come just out of the media was the fact that the two main white characters were known for their roles in Lord of the Rings,
In
and
Lord of the
so
Rings, right?
yeah, and so they were the Tolkien white guys. It was very good.
You only like that because it's a pun. Like,
Yes, and it's amazing. And the fact that it's an effective pun because there weren't very many other white
they were the
prominent
only
members
white
of the cast.
characters.
Yeah,
Unless you count the after credits scene with Sebastian Stan, but
yeah.
that is, I mean, like it counts, but like doesn't count. You know what I mean? Um, in
Oh,
sad Marvel news though, Stanley passed away finally. Him being how old was he? 92 something?
95. Yeah, he passed
95. Like I
away
can't even imagine living to
November.
95. Like talk about living life to the fullest. Dude
Yep.
was ancient.
Yeah, the oldest World War II veteran passed away at 112 last year as well.
Which
Um,
112?
yeah, he was 112.
Wow. I actually
In
know a World War II veteran personally. The guy that I dance with when I go swing dancing is a World War II veteran. He just turned 96, I think, 95 or 96. And he still got the moves for being like
96.
truly old.
Um, This isn't related to Marvel Comics, but it may. I don't know if it counts as nerd stuff. It was a sci-fi fantasy action horror film, according to
Oh,
Wikipedia.
adjectives.
Annihilation. Um, it was a pretty bad movie. Apparently, it was based on a trilogy of books, but it was one of those sci-fi movies where like the main characters were all scientists and they did nothing scientific the entire movie, and it was great. They started the movie being like, oh, we're all smart, independent women who are really smart, and then it was like they all made the worst decisions. And I don't mean this to come off as oh, women are dumb or that's not my goal at all. But
Objectively,
it,
they made poor
yes,
decisions,
yeah,
regardless of besides the fact that they were scientists
yeah, it
and
was
should have been
basically
making informed decisions.
yeah. So basically, they were like, we have to go into the middle of this thing that's been killing people for 3 years, to find out what's happening instead of
Oh, okay. Now I know what movie you're talking about. That's weird
yeah,
that now I know what movie you're talking about. It
yeah,
had
Natalie Portman.
yeah, she was she was investigating her husband's they recruited her husband or
Yep.
somebody she knew, and then he went in the area and then
Yeah.
never made it back. So like she was gonna go find him.
Yeah, what they should have done is, done actual science and like ventured in and came out and like gathered data and been like, oh, because the big twist is that there's like this alien presence force, whatever, that's like causing mutations um
And
in
so
DNA of
all the
everything.
people were getting mutated into aliens.
Yeah, they were like being turned into like crazy like fungus plants and dying, and like it was weird. But instead of being like, oh, like let's observe what's happening, they're like, oh,
Because
we
of
have to send.
science.
Yeah, they're like, we have to send people in on these suicide missions, and the only way we'll ever get any information out is if we send more people in on suicide missions. Like, and that was what had been happening for 3 years according to the plot of the movie. And like, I was just like, what? Like,
Okay,
I watched it for a while, and then
let's
I
take
had
a
to
step.
stop because it
Let's
was so
take a
bad.
step back from that. Like, was the movie? You saw the movie? Yes or
Yeah,
no? Okay,
yeah.
was the movie enjoyable? Like, did you enjoy seeing the movie?
I stopped enjoying it about halfway through because I couldn't handle the fact that they were that it was set up to be like these really like intelligent people who were just making poor decisions. Like, I would rather have them all be just complete idiots who were making these decisions, and like like the everyman. Like, I'd rather have like people who have no idea what's going on, who are like learning about something and like trying to adapt to it just based on like their human survival instincts, instead of being like, oh, like we're scientists and like we're really smart, like, you know
Okay,
like
so would the movie that you wish the movie could have been, the movie you're describing, would that have been enjoyable? Because the like marketing 101, like you have to market the movie to the lowest common denominator. And I'm going to tie this back into Marvel. Like this is something that they've been doing very well.
that's true.
Granted, at this point you have to have like 7 centuries of your life invested in the Marvel movies unless you want to be that guy that stops the movie every 5 seconds to ask what the fuck is going on. Like but the jokes are well written enough that you can understand them. The movies are
Mm-hmm.
well written enough that anyone can like sort of vaguely figure out like what's supposed to be happening or like what the goal is and like what the heroic motivation is
Mm-hmm.
at at any point in the series. And Marvel has done this very well. Like sort of anyone in the lowest common denominator can figure out like okay, this is what's happening in the movie, this is what should be happening, like this is what's going on. So like this
Yeah.
movie Annihilation, like it would have been just a bunch of people like standing around in a room like studying test tubes for 2 hours. Like that's not enjoyable.
No, but I don't know. It's like there's other movies that do that, where like people are trying to search for a cure or something, and there's something else driving the plot.
Other
Like
than
they
people
could have,
dying.
yeah, like they could have studied it and like been more prepared, or like, I don't know. It was the other thing that was really weird was just like kind of seemed like a major plot hole is they went in and I don't want the entire podcast to be about this movie, but like they went in and they found out that basically all of their electronics worked. They just couldn't have like their just like GPS didn't work, but like
Hmm,
electronics were fine. So I was like, why didn't and they had mentioned something about sending in drones, but I guess like they couldn't
that's
operate them from outside. But like if they had just sent like a pilot in with like a plane, like he could have gone to the center of the thing and dealt with it like really quick. Because apparently like
well then the
the
movie
plane would
would
have,
have only been like 30 minutes.
yeah, it's like the plane would have been fine. Like, but apparently it was based off a series of books, so like it was like a trilogy that was
One movie
condensed.
was based off a series.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I think that's the major issue is that there were probably things that were addressed in the books, but
well,
other
okay.
movies,
So this is like what happened to the Hunger Games movies. Like the Hunger Games series was written in um in third person omniscient. So
yeah.
everything
No,
that like
wait, no, it was written in first person. It was written in first person.
was it?
Yes. That was why the
Okay, no,
translation
I'm thinking of
odd.
something else. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, so it was written in first person. So you were in Katniss's head the whole time, and you heard her like, or you read rather her like train of thought. Like, I'm gonna go here and do this for this reason. In the movie, like stuff happens at random. Like the fireballs that come and like that the government or whatever sends to like get her back on track in like the main area of the Hunger Games or whatever. Like
Mhm.
that comes out of nowhere in the movie. You're like, what? What? Where are these fireballs coming? Like, what is happening? And
Yeah.
but in the book, it like makes sense because like she thinks like, oh, they're doing this for this reason. In the movie, it's just like it comes out of nowhere. Sorry, I had to get on
No, yeah,
my
that's a valid
irritation
point.
there for a minute. I think we've talked.
Um,
Man, this movie is garbage.
some other movies just in like nerddom that came out that aren't necessarily comics movies were A Wrinkle in Time. I didn't see it. I don't know how it was reviewed critically or anything, but you know, A
It
Wrinkle
had
in Time
a
was
lot of
a pretty
it had a lot of big names in it.
yeah. And it was like it's a pretty it like was a pretty popular kind of like fantasy
YA.
series. Yeah, like YA fantasy series. From back in the day. It's not a new series by any
I
means,
mean,
but
yeah, from like when we were in high school. I remember seeing the trailer and being like, "Whoa, they're bringing this back?"
yeah. Other movie that I didn't even realize came out was another Tomb Raider movie. I
Wait,
didn't.
what? Really?
There was a Tomb Raider movie.
With Angelina Jolie?
No, with it says the cast was Alicia Vikander, Dominic West, Walton Goggins.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they tried to make a. I think it was they were trying to make a Tomb Raider movie that was based on the Tomb Raider games,
Yeah,
the reboot of the Tomb Raider game series, The Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and so on.
okay, that makes sense.
Because those games have been wildly popular. But they're starting to turn into Call of Duty. Like another one's coming out like kind of every year,
Yeah.
kind of samey.
Um, a movie that came out that I thought was amazing was Pacific Rim Uprising, but I'll
So
save
good. I
I'll save
finally saw it. So good.
yeah, I'll save gushing about that for another podcast because like man, I love Pacific Rim so much.
Pacific Rim movie Michael Bay thinks he's making.
Yeah, it's like I yeah, we got to save it because otherwise I will spend probably like 15 minutes just gushing about that movie. Like I really like the first one and that one as well. Um,
Didn't you go to see the first times
Hmm?
in theaters? Didn't you see it multiple times?
Yeah, I saw the first one in theaters. I don't know if I saw it multiple times, but I got some of the posters and like just the small handout ones that they had from the release. They're pretty sweet. Um, Ready Player One came out this year, or
That was
2020.
that was very the sort of culminescence of popular nerd culture.
Yeah,
I just definitely made up the word culminescence, but I think everyone can sort of generally understand what I mean.
I mean culmination is the exact
That
same
one,
word.
that one, that is the word that I meant to say. Yes, not an English major, never was.
Never
But
was.
point, no, culmination, the culmination of popular nerd culture in Ready Player One.
Yeah, I've seen all but the last 15 minutes of it.
Wait.
I was on a flight and I had
Oh, okay,
15
okay.
minutes. I was so close. But I
Well,
really
yeah,
liked
in
it.
the last
I enjoyed it a
15
lot.
minutes, there's this big plot twist. No, I'm just kidding. Um, okay, so let's switch gears. We got comics, we got movies. Let's talk video games.
Video games. Um, just as a quick like wrap up of the Marvel stuff, things that happened were I from looking online. apparently Marvel relaunched a bunch of their issues. They did like issue number one of a bunch of big name stuff, like Avengers, Fantastic Four, Spider Man. Like they relaunched Venom as another Venom, with like the whole like a God of the Symbiotes thing. That'd be something for people to check out later because it's kind of a big topic. The Venom verse has really exploded. There's also the Venom movie. When beautiful spoiler at the end of that movie is that like they have Willie Harrison as Cletus Cassidy, and it's awesome.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, it's so
Okay, now I
cool.
need to go check that movie out. Because before
Oh
I
my
was
god.
like, I'm not checking this movie out. Now I
Oh,
need to
I should
go
have
see.
talked to you about it. Like it was a really good movie. Like I thought it was really good. Like it felt I don't know, it didn't feel like it was just fun. It didn't feel like it was trying too hard to be anything. Like
It looks like it's trying too hard. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
well, the trailer, yeah. Like the trailer makes it seem like but it's good. And it was critically I don't know. It wasn't received well critically, but I don't know. Abby and I had fun. We enjoyed it. Um, Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, Black Panther, Deadpool 2, and Infinity War. That was kind of it, as far as I could tell for Marvel. Um, so for video games, I have a huge list.
man,
Of
Spider-Man
like
game was awesome. We're
yes.
we're finally back to having a good Spider-Man game
Mm-hmm.
that isn't Ultimate Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
We made it. We made it, everyone.
Wait a second. Oh, something I um sorry, going back to movies, Solo came out this past year as well.
Yeah, and of course, like, you know me, like, I want to get into it, but also don't, because I don't want our fans to tear me apart for it. So we're gonna leave that to another podcast.
Incredibles 2 was in June.
It was, and it was
That
incredible.
feels weird. That feels weird to me.
Yeah,
That
2018
feels
was a
so
long
long
year.
ago.
Like, gotta say.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so
I'll get
video
off that kick.
games. The Spider-Man game. It's great. I haven't finished it, but I've been playing it as much as I can. With the limited time and the multitude of games that I'm trying to play. But it's very good.
I've only watched a playthrough of it, but because I don't have any systems that it is on. So
It's only on PS4.
yeah.
So you do not have the system that it is on.
Okay.
Definitely. Like next time I see you, I'll have to bring my PS4 and we'll check it out.
Oh gosh.
Red talking about not exclusives, but PS Life is better on PS4. Red Dead Redemption 2
Yep.
is amazing. It is it is everything everyone wanted from Red Dead Redemption 2 and more. Like
Yeah. It has gotten rave reviews from everyone I've heard who has played it and from critics. So
critics. Yeah, the critical acclaim that it received was surprising kind of to everyone. We were all like sort of like, wait, critics like this game too? Like what?
just us.
Wait, what the oh,
Flashback.
basically. I mean Red Dead Redemption 1 was good, but it was super clunky. Like it just like I don't know. I can't think of a way to explain it other than clunky. Like it was
Okay.
it was good though. Like it had its like good moments and like good parts, but it was very like just clunky. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Um,
I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, just skip ahead and play Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, it takes place before Red Dead Redemption 1, and the main character of Red Dead Redemption 1 is in Red Dead Redemption 2. So that's like kind of like a fun little tidbit, like if you've played. But
Oh wait, so Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't even about the main character from the last one?
no, it's not about John
Oh,
Marston
okay.
at all. It's about a different
Interesting.
guy.
Okay, I just assumed it was.
Yeah, I think most people did, and then they were like, "Wait, what is happening?" Because the trailers don't give really anything away about like the. They give a little bit away about the characters and like what the game is about, but they're sort of like. Do you remember the trailers for GTA 5?
No.
Well, the trailers for GTA 5 didn't really tell you like what was happening. Like they didn't give anything away about the story. And that might have been kind of a bad thing, but also kind of a good thing. Like they just didn't really say much
Yeah.
as to what the plot of the games were. So I don't know. You'll have to look up Red Dead, the Red Dead sort of timeline and see where everything sort of falls into place. But and we talked about this before, so we're not going to get on a big tangent about it. Smash came out this year.
Yeah.
And you told me that you'd been playing some of the new Pokemon.
Yep.
How's that gone?
It's it's a very like short. It's for a Pokemon game. It's easy. But for introducing a new, I think
Generation.
yeah, I think what I don't. I'm trying to think what Pokemon game would have is the most like difficult Pokemon game that is for more like that is because a lot of
A
Pokemon games,
hardcore.
yeah, like a lot of Pokemon games are try to introduce, like Pokemon. I think is always going to be marketed towards a younger generation of people, and
Mm-hmm.
so like that's how Nintendo and I guess Niantic now and Game Freak, like that's what they want. Like they want new, like younger people to be buying all of the games that are released.
Right.
In addition to the old fans. Um, but this one was very much it's very, very geared towards kids. In that like it's just easy. Like it's a really easy game.
Yeah, you were telling me about it, and you were like talking about how little, like kind of how little you had played it, and sort of how far you already were. And I was
Yeah.
kind of like amazed, like wow, like that sounds like kind of terrible.
Yeah. So it is nice having the kind of the 3D-ness. It is kind of it's thematically nice a little bit that like you grow as a trainer by catching Pokemon, not
Mm-hmm.
so not always battling, but I do kind of miss battling. Like, battling is heavily nerfed in Pokemon Let's Go. But, that's whatever. Like,
Things change. The times change.
yeah. And that's okay because
Um,
we have I don't know. There's other Pokemon games if you want to only focus on battling, like Pokemon Coliseum.
yeah, no, talk about only battling. Like that's what Coliseum is about, is
Yeah, but
battling.
it's the antithesis because you can't catch any Pokemon. I mean, you can catch the dark ones, but like you can't catch anything in the wilderness in that one.
Because there is no wilderness. You're just in a
Yep.
room.
Yep.
What else came out this year? A lot of Switch
And
games. Holy crap! It was a explosive year for Switch. Dead Cells.
yeah.
Shovel Knight got re-released again,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Um.
fantastic. Treasure Trove.
Detective Pikachu came out. Octopath Traveler. Um.
Octopath Traveler was great.
I
I have
haven't
not
beaten it.
finished it because it's long as shit,
Yeah, it's a
but
really
I've
long
been
game.
playing it.
Owl Boy came out. For everything.
It
Um. It was another Metroidvania. Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight is
Celeste.
hard. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I've
hard.
enjoyed the little bit I've played so far. Celeste came out in January.
How's that done critically?
I don't know. I haven't looked,
It coming
honestly.
out off air, but I was interested to know how it did.
Let me look it up. Another thing, couple other like big news items. Fortnite exploded beyond belief. For in all aspects of life. But Dragon Ball Fighter Z came out
For
in
Switch.
yeah, and it also came out in January.
It did come out in January. Holy crap, you're right.
Yeah.
Because I remember it like coming out, but I don't. Wow, you're right. Holy crap.
Yep. Also on a side note, it is also being tournaments for it are being kiboshed by Toei Animation. Because
Really?
they're real protective of their media being used and them not making money off of it.
That's
So,
that's a dick move. Like,
yep.
interesting. That might be
Uh,
something to look into later at a later date.
it looks like Celeste got pretty good reviews. IGN gave it a 10. Says the
IGN,
master.
you gotta take IGN with a grain of salt. Like, I don't want to shit on IGN too much, but I mentioned this at some other point. It might have been in this one or in the old Rogan Paladin podcast, but like they marked down the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire remakes of
For
Ruby
that.
and Sapphire for having too much water. Like, really? Really? Like, I don't know. Alright, well,
PC Gamer gave it
it's been
80.
a big year for nerd culture. Like, and
Um,
it's encroaching its way further and further into popular culture. Like they're sort of fusing. And
that's
I'm not saying like by no stretch of the imagination is all popular culture nerd culture anymore, but I'm gonna be a dick for this and like get up on my soapbox a little bit about it. But like, remember when we were like in like grade school and middle school and high school, like getting made fun of for being nerds?
yeah.
I saw this person who I'm like, quote friends with on Facebook, who like was a huge bully those years, being
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Avengers: Infinity War, and I can't wait for Captain Marvel." And I like sat back in my chair a little bit, and I was like, I remember when you would like throw people into trash cans in high school for like talking about going to see a nerd movie. Like the irony sort of is sweet. And I mean it's the whole like 80s movie Revenge of the Nerds kind of philosophy here
Yeah.
that Revo used to hit on. But that's an aside, you like what you like and your tastes change and you grow and evolve as a person. Like a Pokemon.
Yep.
Except everything costs
Um,
money instead of hit points.
yeah. So, just a couple other things that we don't necessarily have to talk about, but
Let's
that
get on
we're just
some quick fire things because
we're
we're getting lengthy.
yeah. Yeah. So Soul Calibur 6, God
Great,
of War,
enjoyed.
Black Ops 4.
Dad of War came out this year, really?
Yeah, yeah, Dad of War came out. Um, the Mega Man Legacy collections. Um,
Great, fantastic. The Legacy Collection,
Detroit Become Human, which was of mixed reviews.
miserable failure.
Um, and then World of Warcraft, Battle for Azeroth.
They're still releasing expansions for that game. Centuries later.
Yep.
You gotta give them credit. Blizzard knows how to beat a dead horse. I don't know. Apparently the games are still like very alive in terms of their fan base and player
Yeah.
base.
Yep. Which is crazy.
Something I could never get into, World of Warcraft.
Me neither.
I just couldn't get into it. Like I tried. I really did. But I just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
All right, well, so this has been a little bit of our year in review. If you feel like we missed anything, hit us up in some comments, either on our Facebook page or in our YouTube channel, and let us know what we missed and how terrible we are and how much you hate us. Or not.
Yep.
How much you like us and you're glad we talked about the thing that you like. But this is part one of our double bill year in review. Next, sort of right after this, we're going to have a guest join us, and we're going to talk about some things we're looking forward to in 2019. So stay tuned for that, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Adios.